YouTube, what's good, man? It's your boy Cry. Welcome back to another vid. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the algorithm. And make sure to follow me on all platforms at I Am Cry. We got a good one today, fellas. So I dropped a video, 3 books every man should read. It's one of my top streaming videos so far. And, I gave some honorable mentions at the end. And there was some people in the comments that wanted me to touch on those books. So I'm gonna give you 3 more books that every man must read. And these books definitely changed my life. So let's go ahead and get right into it. The first book every man must read is The Way of a Superior Man by David Dita. If there is a book on how to be a man, this would be the #1 book on the list, fellas. This book gives you a lot of insight on how to align with your purpose and how to deal with different adversities as a man. One of the takeaways I got from this book is do what you need to do now. Do not procrastinate, hoping that things will one day be different. Take action now, right? A lot of times as a young man, I always told myself, oh yeah, next year I'm gonna do this, next year I'm gonna do that. When in reality, man, you have to take action now. I preach this in a lot of my videos, but taking action is everything. Taking action is the best self-improvement advice there is out there, fellas, because with action, you're going to get better, you're going to improve, and you're going to be able to get to your goals faster rather than just continuously thinking about what to do, right? A lot of times ideas come from action. Motivation comes from action. And that's what this is saying. It also talks about how you should spend at least an hour a day on your purpose, fellas. And that's minimum, right? There are people that are spending 2 to 4 hours a day that work 9 to 5s dedicated to their purpose. And your purpose can be whatever that you want to achieve in life and align with that, fellas. So you feel me? I want to help men become their best self, whether that's with self-improvement, fitness, on, with lifestyle as well, providing some motivation. So I make sure that I, am committing to at least 2 to 4 hours a day on that, whether that's editing videos, recording videos, or working on my fitness business via LinkedIn. I make sure that I'm getting that time in every single day, regardless of what's going on. And as a man, you must always do that. Men who have lived significant lives are men who have never waited, not for money, security, ease, or women. Right? And what this basically means is that everything you want, man, go get it right now, fellas. This kind of goes into the procrastination thing and taking action, but every man that really wanted something, he went out and took it, man. You got to be aggressive with life and aggressive with the things that you want, because if not, you're going to be in the same place that you are now in 5 years, fellas. And basically the superior men that, this book is speaking about, they never waited. They went after it and took action, and they weren't afraid to fail, fellas. And that's very, very important. A man should live with a hurting heart rather than a closed one. He should learn to stay in the wound of pain and act with skill and love even from that place. In life, fellas, as a man, you're gonna go through the most pain ever. Man, you're gonna go through a lot of heartbreaks. You're gonna go through a lot of hard days, a lot of hard nights. And what this is basically saying is to, despite those hard times, is to always give out love, right? And to learn how to navigate and be the best that you can be while being in the middle of that pain. So despite the hard times and challenges that you're facing, despite, your girlfriend getting on your nerves, despite you got in an argument with your friend, despite your boss shitting on you, right? Learn to act and be your best self within that pain. And that's what's gonna separate you from other men and allow you to be the best that you can be. During confrontation, always look the other person in their eyes. Don't shy away. The superior man must feel the entire situation with their whole body. Do not withdraw or hide emotion. This is basically saying, guys, during confrontation, look the person in their eyes, fellas. Don't be a bitch, right? A lot of times as a young man, when I was talking to my coach and he was yelling at me, or my dad was yelling at me, I would look away, look down, right? You want to look people in their eyes, and you feel me? Although it might hurt internally, embrace that pain, fellas. Like, stop being a bitch with confrontation, because that's how people take advantage of you and look at you as a weak person. Always look the other person in the eye, rather you feel me, got something you want to say, or they got something you want to say to you, man. Never shy away from that confrontation, fellas, because it's going to allow you to show signs of strength and not look like a weak ass nigga, man. So always look the other person in the eye, and that's what this is talking about. Be aware of fears and do everything to overcome them. Say them out loud and attack them. Experience your fears day by day. I speak on a lot how, uncomfortability is where the growth happens, but fears is where the growth happens as well. A lot of times the things that you're scared to do, fellas, is where you're gonna grow, right? So you're scared to talk to that girl. How are you gonna build confidence and learn how to talk to girls if you're scared to talk to her, right? You are scared to, take that money risk with that business idea. How are you ever going to know if it was the right thing to do and reach your full potential in business if you don't take that risk, fellas? Your fears are holding you back. So it's very important on a day-to-day basis to say your fears out loud, whatever it is that you fear, and attack it every day, right? I was kind of fearful to get on camera and be vulnerable on YouTube, right? Now I'm not, I just took it head on. And that's what this is saying, guys, that you must overcome your fear. The only way to do that is to take them head on. A man should never betray his deepest knowledge and intuition in order to please a woman. This will weaken you and her and allow you both to grow to resent each other. You are weakening her trust in you when you are doing this, right? So what does this mean? A lot of times women will try to get you to change your mind about things that you're very decisive about, right? So you may want to, save a certain amount of money for a weekend, right? And say, hey, we're not going out this weekend. And she steady trying to convince you to do it. And this is basically saying when you do it, right? When you go back on your word, when you tell her no and then allow it to happen, in the moment she's happy, but she's growing to know like that shit is tolerable, that she can do that all the time. And on her end, and you're also going to resent her as well, that you feel me, you trusted her opinion and her needs and her wants over your own, fellas. So as a man, you are the leader. What you say go. It's very important to stand on that. This is what that talks about. If you give up your decision and follow a woman, you will blame her if she is wrong and you will feel disempowered if she is right. Right? So let's say that you want to do something and you have a plan for something and your girl has an opposite idea for it and you listen to her and it works out, you're going to feel disempowered as a man. And if it doesn't work out, you're going to resent her, right? So this is why it goes to what I just said. Always follow your heart as a man, as a leader. You're always going to, steer yourself in the right direction, man, because women will try to steer you off course, but it's very important to be mindful of that and always stick to your, true beliefs, morals, and principles. One of a woman's deepest pleasures in intimacy is testing a man, right? We all heard the term that's very popular today, shit test, right? Women will text you back slow or no show for a date. This never goes away. Women are always going to test you, right? But it's very attractive to them when you hold frame, you stand ground, right? A woman yelling at you, cussing you out, and you holding frame, you standing ground, you're not showing any emotion, right? A woman says, I don't think this is working out, you agree with her, like, hey, you're right, it's not working out, right? You don't beg and say, oh, baby, bye. It's very attractive to a woman to see a man's strength, right? And this is what that talks about. Give women love when they are upset instead of trying to figure out what's wrong. This is something that I'm still currently working on today, fellas, because as men, we think so logical, right? When there's a problem, let's find a solution. Women are not really like that. Sometimes they just want to vent. They don't really want to hear about the solution, right? Or sometimes they just want to vent and you feel me, they want you to just be there for them, right? When something is wrong with a woman, give them love, whether that's verbally, physically, mentally, emotionally. Women respond better to love than they do solutions and criticism. One of the deepest feminine desires is a man who can figure it out himself. A man she does not have to guide. You ever go on a date and you ask a girl what she wants to eat and she has no idea, rather than you just pick her up and take her somewhere? Guys, that's how it is with women with everything. Like, you must provide solutions for your girl at all times, fellas. Like, women don't want to have to guide a man or have to make decisions in a relationship. Like, they want to stay in their feminine. And when you are allowing a female to make decisions and be the leader and have to guide you, you're making her very masculine, and you never want to do that because that's going to mess up the intimacy in the relationship and it's going to turn into a partnership, and you never want a partnership. You want a relationship. In a relationship, two individuals have roles. You have masculine qualities and feminine qualities, and feminine qualities are being, able to allow your man to lead and guide and not having to worry about anything. And that's what this talks about. A woman will never trust and love you if she is the number one priority in your life. Jackpot. This is so important, man, because their actions tell you otherwise, right? Women want it all the time, all the attention, and they want you to text them all day, stay on the phone with them all night, be up under them, lay up, watch movies all day, right? That's what they say that they want, but I'm telling you, fellas, deep down, they don't really want that. And when they do receive that, there's a expiration date on it, right? They're going to get tired of it. They're going to feel like, okay, if this guy's all up under me all day, like what is he doing with his life? And it's going to become very unattractive. And then they end up leaving you for the man that is very goal oriented, very successful, has more money, more status. And that man isn't laying up under a woman all day. That man is prioritizing himself. So what this is basically saying is she'll never fully love and trust you if you put her before your goals and your purpose. So always put your goals and your purpose first, fellas. Restore love and happiness by making a girl feel good in the present moment. This is something that I'm living in real time, fellas. Women, they live in the present moment, right? So I can do something great 9 times in a row, and if I mess up the 10th time, that's what they live by, right? So you have to restore love and restore their feelings and their emotions in the present moment. It doesn't matter what you did last week. It doesn't matter what you did yesterday. It doesn't matter what you did a year ago. All that matters is right now, right? I could get on my girl's nerves and then, you feel me, take her out to eat, buy some flowers, tell her how much I love her the next day, and the next day she's happy. That's how women operate. I'm not like that. Like, I have friends that have done things for me years ago, and you feel me, I'm not even cool with them no more, but I would never talk down on their name. I would never gossip about them to other people or share, maybe secrets they share with me just because of something they did for me years ago. It doesn't matter that what they did for me yesterday or that we not cool no more. Women aren't like that, fellas. You have to always fix problems in the moment, man. It doesn't matter what you did yesterday. That's just the reality, and you got to accept it. At the core, a woman desires a man's dark side, right? Women don't want killers, but they want to know that you have the capacity to kill. And what that basically means, fellas, is nice guys finish last. Like, stop being a weak ass bitch. Like, it's okay to have your rough edges. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to be masculine. It's okay to be a man, right? I used to find myself doing this a lot in the past. Like, when I'm talking to one of my homeboys, my voice will be like this, very deep. But when I'm talking to a girl, for some reason, my voice inflection would go up because I thought that my deep voice and my demeanor was intimidating her, when in reality, fellas, it's the complete opposite. Your voice should be a lot deeper, and you should be a lot more masculine around women because they like that, right? Versus when you're with your homeboys, you can kind of let your guard down a little bit. Like, we all men, they don't really care. But around a woman, fellas, you should always maintain masculinity, right? Because it's very attractive to them. Like, they don't want to date another girl in a man form, if that makes sense. So those are the main takeaways I got from this book, fellas. Definitely make sure to check this out. The next book that every man must read is Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. This book speaks on how important your imagination is and how your thoughts can have a positive and negative impact on your life. All actions, feelings, and behaviors and abilities are always consistent with our perceived self-image. You act like the person you conceive yourself to be, right? So people that have anxiety, social anxiety, are typically people that have this perception of themselves. They think that they're socially awkward. They think that they don't fit in. They think that someone's talking about them, right? Your perceived image is your reality, fellas. So if you think you are that nigga, if you think you are that guy, you are that guy, right? So it's very important to control your thoughts and never think negatively or bad about yourself, because that is your reality and it's going to affect your actions. Once the human body has a successful response, it stores it for future use and forgets about the failed attempts, right? So a lot of times we are afraid to make mistakes, but how the mind works, like, this is a proven study, fellas, like with this book, like this is based on science data, is that it only remembers the good reps, right? So like, for instance, think about it like basketball, right? You miss 9 shots in a row and then you make that last one, end up going on a hot streak. That's what this is basically saying. You can do that with anything in life. So the failed attempts don't matter. Like, the mind automatically always remembers the, most positive experience. Making mistakes is good when chasing a goal. Don't get discouraged. These mistakes are negative feedback staring you into the outcomes of achieving a goal. So this kind of goes into what I just said, because mistakes are not mistakes, they're lessons, fellas. And this is why taking action is so important, because as you're taking action and as you're making these mistakes, you're only getting better. You're only getting better. You're only getting better, right? So don't look at L's and uncomfortable times as a bad thing, because they're all shaping you into the good thing. Your nervous system cannot tell the difference between an imagined experience and a real experience, right? So this is so important because you can use this with so many things, right? So like, for instance, like you're like, if you think about like before a game, I'm about to score 30, your mind doesn't know that that's an imagined experience, right? So this, you can use this with anything, right? So like say that you have an interview and you imagine yourself, I'm about to kill this interview, I'm about to get this job. Your mind can't tell the difference between it being imagined and not being real. So it's basically, it speaks about how successful people imagine these things happening in their lives before they happen. And it ends up happening, right? You hear a lot about manifestation in this generation. This is basically what that means. Always think of what you have to do as easy and it will become so, right? This is very important. Again, that your perception is your reality. If you go to the gym and you on the squat rack and you like, oh my God, this is a lot of weight, bro, it's gonna be way harder to push that weight up. Versus if you go with the mentality like, this shit easy, this easy work, you gonna lift that motherfucker up all the time. I hear an influencer, her name is Crane, and man, she always says, it's just a bar. No matter how much weight is on the bar, she says it's just a bar. And that's with anything in life, fellas, man. Like it's everything is easy. Like the real hard things are like, you feel me? Like you got cancer and you about to die, right? Or you facing 10 years in prison. Those are hard things. A lot of the things that we think are hard are very easy, fellas. Like, just go do the dishes, right? Just do that hour of deep work. It's easy, bro. And you gotta have that mentality and you'll be better off. Setting a goal, it's important to realize that most of the time you'll be in journey mode. This means you'll be focused on the process of actions you need to take to get to where you wanna go, right? So guys, we want to be a millionaire, right? The majority of your life, you will be on a quest to become a millionaire. You have to accept that and you have to find love within that, right? Because once you fall in love with the journey, the goals will come easy no matter what they are, right? And this is what that talks about. Delete anything that could cause negative thoughts. This goes a lot with your environment, right? The people around you, right? If people are draining you, people don't believe in you, you got to cut those people off. And this goes to, what you consume as well. A lot of us are following a lot of bullshit on social media, a lot of shit that's affecting our mood negatively, a lot of shit that's fucking up our train of thought, and we go right to social media in the morning, see something we don't like, and then we fucked up our mind for a bad day, right? So this book speaks on how important your thoughts are, right? So if something is gonna negatively affect your thought process, cut it out, man. We think over, I believe it's like, I want to say over 100,000 thoughts a day, man. Try your best to make sure those are positive thoughts. And how you do that is by cutting off things that will have a negative effect on that. So that is a great read, fellas. I definitely recommend every man to check that out as well. But now we're going to dive into the last book. The last book that every man should read is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This book is like the Bible on networking, man. And it uses a lot of gems from psychology and how to use these gems to work in your advantage, in networking and relationships. And, in my first video, I talked about a lot, my favorite book, The 48 Laws of Power. It uses some of those laws in this book. So let's go ahead and dive in. Most people do not criticize themselves for anything, no matter how wrong they be. So basically, guys, studies have shown that humans are more, learn more from reward than they do criticism, right? So nobody thinks they're wrong, man. Even myself, like everybody thinks they're right, guys. Even if 100 people are right and one person is wrong, that one person thinks he's right. And that's what this talks about, man. So this talks about that rewarding people for good actions is going to do you more justice than, shitting on them for bad actions, right? So if I like a certain thing that my girl does in the bedroom and there's something that I don't like, right? And she does what I do like one time, it's better to just keep telling her, yo, I liked when you did that, versus me telling her, yo, don't do that no more, just do this. Does that make sense? Deepest urge in human nature is the desire to be important. People need appreciation just like they need food. If you let someone go for 6 days without food, you would feel bad. So why do we do the same things with appreciation, right? This is very important, man. Everybody just wants to feel validated. Everybody just wants to feel like they're loved and appreciated and understood. Literally everybody, right? So how can you use this to your advantage? by showing people they're appreciated, right? Your girl just made you some food, man. Tell her like, damn, babe, this is good, man. I'm very appreciated. She just went grocery shopping. Tell her she's appreciated, right? And how showing your appreciation can really work in your favor in networking and in relationships, man. Like, people love feeling appreciated. People love feeling that their hard work is recognized. And it's very important to, display that. Talking about what we want is childish. No one cares. Everyone thinks and talk about what they want. Use this to your advantage. I've always been good at this, man. And when I read this, I was like, wow, like this is a quality I've always had. But I'm a listener, man. You got to be a listener because everybody wants to talk about themselves. Everybody wants to talk about their life. Everybody wants to talk about what they want to accomplish, what they did accomplish, their kids. And you have to use this to your advantage. So when you're talking to people, man, just listen. Ask them more questions about things that they're passionate about, things that they love. And it's going to work in your favor because at the end, they're going to be like, wow, like I love talking to this person, right? And all you did was listen. Right? And the fact that you're likable and they love talking to you, that can open up a door for you. People are interested in themselves. You ever notice when you take a group photo that you always look at yourself first? That is life, man. Like everybody is in their own bubble, man. Like I go in the gym all the time. I used to go in the gym scared to record myself, right? And what I realized is that nobody gives a fuck about what I'm doing. Everybody is focused on themselves, man. Everybody, rather it's something that happened at work, the gym right now, or what they got to do when they get home. They don't give a fuck about what I'm doing, man. Like, get over yourself, everybody, right? Because nobody is thinking about you. Everybody's thinking about themselves. And you must use that to your advantage. Repeat names and important facts about people right after meeting them, right? You don't understand how good it feels to a person when you meet somebody and then the next time you see them, you say their name or you bring up something that they said to you during the first encounter, right? This makes them feel important and it also shows that like you are interested in them, like you are generally, paid attention to detail, right? Especially with women. This is very important with women, right? You must listen to everyday conversations and things that, they say that they want, right? If this is a woman you like, fellas, not just any girl. Like for instance, my girl, she said that she never walked into, a room for Valentine's Day with like balloons and roses and shit like that. And just a daily conversation. And I made sure to do that, right? She didn't even have to ask for it. You can use that in relationships and in business, right? And just remembering people's names, man. When you remember people's names, it goes a long way, man. I'm telling you, man. Like I know people that I meet and when they remember my name, like I feel good about it. Like I feel important. And you have to use that to your advantage as well. All people we meet feel superior to us in some way, shape, or form. Recognize this, validate it when needed, especially in business and in networking. 48 Laws of Power talks about this, but everybody thinks they're better than you in some way, shape, or form. Like people have this delusion about themselves, like that they're superior. So use this to your advantage, right? If you are, I remember I had an interview for a role and this guy, man, he was the guy that I was interviewing with. He worked at DoorDash, he worked at Uber, and one other major company. And I asked him a question, but I validated those things. I said, hey, I see you have all this experience at these major companies. What's something that, a habit that you've, added to your everyday routine that has allowed you to have success with these companies? And he was like, wow, I never gotten that question before, but he was happy because I validated him, right? I made him feel superior. I used the mirror effect, right? The mirror effect is the 48 Laws of Power. I used the mirror effect and validated what he already thought about himself. And you have to learn how to use that to your advantage. Only way to get the best out of an argument is to avoid it. You will very rarely change a person's mind. This all goes to, everybody thinking that they're right, man. And guys, actions are going to speak much more louder than words, man. There's a disagreement with somebody, man, and they're literally in the wrong. It's going to do you more justice than to show them better than you can tell them, because words are not going to change a person's mind. So don't even waste your time, man. Never brag. Let other people do the talking for you. Bragging causes envy and not praise. This is facts, right? A lot of times we think that talking about our accomplishments and bragging is going to make people like us, but guys, it brings envy. Like you bragging and talking about yourself is going to bring haters and people are going to envy you rather than if you just let people do the talking for you, right? I remember a couple years ago, I was at the gym And me and this girl had exchanged contact information. And, I forgot to ask for her name. So as I'm walking out, I go up to her and I'm like, I didn't get your name. And she told me her name. I told her my name. And it was this old dude that walked past. And I had a fresh cut at the time. You feel me? My shirt was off. I was looking pretty decent, y'all. And the guy walks past us and stops. And he looks at her and says, this guy is super handsome, isn't he? Right? And that is better than me just going up to her saying, damn, I'm handsome, man. Right? So let people do the talking for you, man, always. The last thing that I got from this book is very important, man. And that is, just like movies and ads dramatize their product, you have to dramatize your ideas in business and any other aspect of your life. Always go the extra mile to appeal to others, right? So, guys, what this basically means is that you have to dramatize things because humans, they base their decisions off emotions, right? So like you have to use that to your advantage. Like entertainment, they do this to a T, right? They'll show you the preview, they'll leave cliffhangers at the end of episodes, just be very dramatic. And you have to do that in business and in networking, right? If you have a presentation, like go the extra mile, right? If you're planning a date, for a holiday, go the extra mile. They'll always work in your favor because people base their happiness and how they feel about you off their emotions, and how to kind of be a puppet with their emotions is to go the extra mile, and dramatize things, make things very dramatic, right? Even with sex, right? If you do something consistently and you're doing the same positions and saying the same things, right? Women are going to get bored versus if you come in from a night out and music playing and you rip her clothes off and you take her on a balcony and you telling her all the right things, like that is better than just baby turn around, right? So you have to dramatize things, man, and it will work wonders for you, man. So those are the 3 books every man must read, man. Definitely dive into these and make sure that you take notes on each chapter, man. I touched on this in my first video, but when I'm talking to you guys, I'm reading notes from each chapter and I'm reading these daily so that, the things that I'm, retaining from this book stick and they don't just read and go, right? A lot of us we read stuff and then the next day we forget about it, right? So it's very important to actively read and take notes so that you can apply these principles from these books to your everyday life and really improve, fellas. So those are the books, man. Make sure to go check those out. You can order all of these on Amazon. And, I will have another video coming up of more books, man, that, I recommend, man. I'm a big reader and, books have definitely shaped who I am today. And I want to pass on that knowledge to you guys. I love y'all. Peace.